The Dragon Defenders, Book 1, Chapter 2. But they could have been killed. We could have lost them both. Paddy lay in bed, wide awake. His mother's voice could be heard plainly through the wall. For the past hour, he'd been listening to his parents argue about what happened that day. Sometimes they spoke quietly, but occasionally they raised their voices. "Flynn, are you awake?" he whispered. "Of course I am," replied his brother. "Shh, I'm trying to hear what they're saying." The boys had burst in the door that afternoon in a state of high excitement after their close call with the ferocious red dragon. Both were talking at once, and their parents had struggled to make sense of their story until they finally calmed down enough to take turns telling it. Their sweet little sister Ada was terrified and excited in equal measure. Their parents' eyes grew wide when they heard how close they had come to being caught. When they had finished their story, their father whistled. "You are two lucky boys," said their father. "He doesn't often miss his prey." "Wait," said Finn. "He? You know that dragon?" Their father nodded. "That's Big Red," he explained. "We've often wondered if he was still alive. He was always a loner. He never lived with the others at Dragon's Crater. He told them that the fierce dragon had lived in his cave near the top of Mount Monstrous for as long as anyone could remember. Even their grandparents, who had arrived on the island years before their mother was born." The boy's mother had been silent through all of this, her eyes down. She was clearly shocked and deeply troubled by their story. She had said little as they ate dinner. Fresh fish caught in the lagoon that day by their father, with potatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, and tomatoes harvested from the garden. Paddy thought of the 2 pheasants still on the mountain. Perhaps Big Red had found and eaten them. At least he wasn't having dog for his dinner. Soon after dessert, poached plums and peaches from their trees in the orchard, their mother sent the children to bed. It was clear she wanted to have a private discussion with their father. Ada complained, but when Flynn offered to read her a story, she skipped off to her bedroom with glee. As soon as the brothers had laid down on their beds, through the wall, Paddy heard his mother say something alarming. "Perhaps we should leave the island. I never really gave it much thought before, but it's dangerous here. Maybe we should go to the mainland and send the children to school. Make them wear shoes, the things that normal people do." "I'm not sure you'd survive doing the things normal people do, my love," replied his father. "You've only ever left this island once, and for just one night, remember?" But his mother was serious. "Are we doing the right thing?" she asked. "Are we putting our own children at risk? Are we responsible parents? I just don't know anymore." There was a long silence while his father thought this over. "Look," he said, "the boys weren't hurt, and one thing's for certain, they won't go anywhere near the top of Mount Monstrous again. We've taught them, well, they're strong, independent, resourceful, and clever. They can read as well as any child from the city. Yes, there are good things on the mainland that they miss out on, playing sports with friends, riding bikes, going to the cinema, but their life here more than makes up for all of that. Their friends are falcons and horses and dolphins and whales. Their classroom is the wilderness. Occasionally it might be a bit dangerous, yes, but look how good they are at getting themselves out of trouble. Didn't they escape today all on their own?" Paddy's mother made a joke about having no idea what a cinema was, and then he heard them laugh together. It made him feel better. "Tell you what," he said, "how about I sing you a song from my favorite movie? It's called Grease." Paddy looked over at Flynn in the darkness and saw the light gleaming from his teeth and knew he was smiling. "Oh boy," said Flynn, "block your ears." Paddy giggled. Just then a soft whinny came from the open window. Paddy looked up to see a long brown nose illuminated by the moon poking through the curtains. "Clappers," he whispered, standing up on his bed and hugging the horse around her neck. "Have you come to say good night?" Flynn stood up too and stroked the horse's silky nose. "Hello, girl," he said. "Where's Lightning?" As if to answer the question, a soft squee could be heard from the treetops. It was soon followed by a flurry of beating wings, and out of the darkness swooped a falcon, which alighted on Clapper's back and hopped up her neck to stand on her head. The horse didn't mind a bit. Lightning then hopped onto Flynn's outstretched hand and allowed himself to be patted. "It's past your bedtime, boy," said Flynn, stroking the speckled brown and white feathers of his breast. Lightning was content to sleep sitting on the windowsill while Clappers wandered away into the orchard. Paddy lay down again, and his thoughts were of Big Red up there on the mountainside, alone in his cave. Now that Paddy wasn't so frightened, he could appreciate what a magnificent dragon Big Red was, certainly the biggest on the island. He was glad to have seen him, no matter how scary it had been. He just hoped his mother could see it that way. "Night, Flynn," he murmured, closing his eyes, already half asleep. "Night," Flynn replied.